On December 31st, 1944, New Year's Eve, many courageous young men are not partaking in celebrations. Instead, they are aboard a fleet of 37 aircraft on a mission aimed at oil refineries in Hamburg. After successfully completing their objective, the remaining planes have been navigating through anti-aircraft fire for over an hour, enveloped in darkness so thick that the sky is invisible. Lieutenant Glenn Rojohn commands a B17G named the Little Skipper, and he, along with his crew, is urgently seeking a path through the barrage of flak. They maneuver skillfully to evade the clouds of smoke and flames erupting around them and their fellow airmen. At last, the aircraft reach the North Sea, and to their collective relief, the anti-aircraft fire diminishes. Now flying steadily and in formation, the crews remain vigilant for any enemy fighters. A strong headwind is affecting their speed, causing the B-17s to travel significantly slower than normal. Suddenly, they are detected. At an altitude of 22,000 feet, the B-17s are ambushed, leading to an intense aerial battle. Numerous enemy aircraft, in relentless waves, consist of German Mi-109 fighters that attack and strafe the American bombers. Maintaining a tight formation serves as their best defense. Yet the fighters are unyielding, resulting in the loss of many B-17s. The Mi-109s approach so closely during their assault that Rojohn and his crew can see the faces of the enemy pilots. While B-17s are renowned for their durability, they can only withstand a limited amount of damage. As more planes fall, the Lucky Lassie assumes the role of alternate leader, prompting the remaining aircraft to form a tight defensive circle around it. A sudden flash catches Rojohn's attention, revealing the horrifying sight of the plane ahead being severely hit, slipping out of formation and descending toward the sea below. With enemy fighters swarming, Lieutenant Rojohn must quickly fill the gap in the newly formed defensive structure. Resolutely, Rojohn propels his aircraft forward, accelerating to close the distance and restore the defensive formation as they attempt to return home. However, the Mi-109s are relentless, and just below Rojohn's plane, another B-17, known as the Nine Lives, has sustained damage. Although the aircraft remains airborne, both the pilot and co-pilot have been incapacitated. Unbeknownst to Lieutenant Rojohn, the absence of a pilot causes the Nine Lives to begin drifting upward. Inside the Little Skipper, a jarring impact reverberates through the fuselage. Rojohn, bewildered and stunned, glances at his co-pilot, Lieutenant William G. Leake. The aircraft begins to feel increasingly heavy and starts to descend. They both pull back on the control stick, managing to keep the plane aloft, but it is evident that something is gravely amiss. At this moment, they realize they have collided and are now entangled in flight with another B-17. The Nine Lives has crashed its upper fuselage into the underside of the Little Skipper, with the top gun turret of the lower plane wedged into the bottom of the upper one. The two bombers are flying almost in perfect alignment, with the tail of the lower aircraft slightly to the left of Rojohn's tailpiece. They are stuck together, as Bill Leake later described, like dragonflies. In the lower aircraft, 3 engines continue to operate, as do all 4 engines of the upper plane. However, a fire has erupted in the engine that has stopped, which, due to the collision, has compromised the hydraulics and electrical systems of the Little Skipper, causing both planes to rapidly lose altitude. Rojohn attempts various maneuvers in a futile effort to separate the 2 aircraft, but it proves impossible. Aware of the extreme danger involved in attempting to return to England, he reluctantly resolves to head back toward Germany, knowing that bailing out over water poses significant risks. The most prudent course of action is to attempt to maneuver the aircraft towards the shore, thereby maximizing the crew's chances of survival. As the fire continued to spread, Rojohn made the critical decision to shut down the engines of the little skipper. In a remarkable demonstration of airmanship, both the pilot and co-pilot skillfully managed to maneuver the locked aircraft and redirect their course back to Germany. As they neared the coastline, they were detected by German anti-aircraft batteries. One German captain noted in his logbook, "Two fortresses collided in formation in the northeast. The planes flew entangled and traveled 20 miles south. They were no longer capable of combat. Anticipating the inevitable crash, I ceased fire on these two aircraft." To enhance the likelihood of his crew's safe egress, Rojohn fought to maintain control of the aircraft. Ultimately, 6 men successfully parachuted from the little skipper. Rojohn instructed Leake to bail out. However, Leake understood that it required the combined strength of 2 men to keep the plane level. If he had abandoned the aircraft, Rojohn would surely have met his demise as the plane spiraled uncontrollably. Consequently, LT Leake declined the order. The 2 men resolved to see the flight through to its conclusion. Earlier, after bailing out and descending from his parachute, Navigator LT Robert Washington observed the unusual sight of the 2 bombers locked together as they plummeted towards the ground in the distance. The 2 aircraft, one atop the other, were descending at a frightening velocity. As the ground rushed towards them, both men uttered their prayers and, in a final Herculean effort, pulled back on the control stick to maximize the aircraft's lift. They exerted tremendous force on the steering yoke. They had to brace themselves by placing their feet on the console. As they approached Tetten's Field in northern Germany, the aircraft crashed violently into the ground. The 9 lives disintegrated upon impact, while the little skipper surged forward, skidding along the terrain. A wing collided with a wooden structure, causing the plane to break apart. Debris scattered in all directions, resulting in the near-total destruction of the aircraft. As the nose of the plane came to a halt and silence enveloped the scene, the 2 men, remarkably still in their seats, had survived. Rojohn and Leake emerged from the wreckage, just as a German soldier rushed in to capture them. Regrettably, not all the airmen managed to escape that day. In total, 6 crew members from the little skipper survived, while 4 from the 9 lives successfully bailed out. The fact that any of them survived was a remarkable feat. All survivors were taken prisoner by the Germans. Lieutenant Glenn Rojohn received the Distinguished Flying Cross for his actions that day, though he always credited Leake with saving his life. After the war, the 2 men lost contact, but in 1986, Glenn Rojohn successfully located Bill Leake and re-established communication. In 1987, the 2 men, along with the surviving crew, were finally reunited at a gathering of the 100th Bomb Group in Long Beach, California. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to Captain Rojohn's daughter, Cyndi Rojohn, for her assistance with the details in this narrative. Any inaccuracies are solely our responsibility. There are numerous additional details to this extraordinary story, which can be found in her remarkable book, The Piggyback Flight Pilot's Journey, published by Fulton Books and available on Amazon.